This all started with a man passing. He was my doppelganger, you see, so more so than normal I was really able to put myself in his shoes. He died when one of those hoity-toity soccer moms in one of her new Mercedes-Benz, paid for by her husband's rich IT job where all he does is say, you do that, this needs to be done this day, that needs to be done that day. Well anyways, the soccer mom ran him over. He was walking down the street one day when she sped around the corner like an ocelot in a railway car being fed live squirrels, hopped the curb and crushed Ned's left leg. Poor Ned's left leg, his femoral artery spurting blood like a whale's blowhole. Ned's life reduced to 1 minute bleeding on the side of the road. I did all the usual things, sent flowers, my condolences. I thought it unwise to attend the funeral due to my striking resemblance, lest one of his 2 kids have a heart attack from seeing their reincarnate father attending his own funeral. That gives me a great idea for a movie. Anyways, Ned's tragic whale blowhole femoral artery is what gave me the idea. This was it. I decided that enough is enough. Enough soccer moms not knowing how to drive, enough guys with too much money treating residential areas like they are racetracks, enough Neds and femoral arteries leading to death by car. I decided to start doing something about it if the police weren't going to. I had to differentiate myself from them, so I chose a slightly different name. Punisher came to mind, but I thought that was a bit too doom and gloom. I wanted something that inspired fear, but not mortal fear. Just don't drive so goddamn fast fear. So I chose Enforcer. See, I had just lost my job, been given the pink slip, laid off. So I had nothing better to do than to sit on my street corner monitoring traffic, ensuring that no one drove too fast. It sure beat the alternative of sitting on my ass, and it was cheaper than the horse races. The first couple of days, everything went slowly, other than maybe a few drivers wondering what the hell is this random guy on the side of the road doing. But on day four, my services were needed.
What the hell are you doing?
I would appreciate your cooperation and if you would refrain from using such language around a peacekeeping force.
Who the hell gave you any sort of authority, and what the hell are you doing in the middle of the damn road?
The last time I would appreciate it if you wouldn't use that type of fucking language around me. You were going far too fast to be able to safely control your vehicle inside this residential zone. She was slightly taken aback by this as I scribbled things down on a piece of paper, such as time of day, license plate number. I handed her a piece of paper that said issuance. I let him know that it was just a warning and that he needed to slow down for the sake of the kids. I wanted to tell him that he needed to slow down for the sake of every Ned and that this was life and death, but that seemed a little bit too serious for the average speeder. After all, I was trying to help. I didn't need someone getting all up in their head and getting distracted and running some poor kid over. So in the next couple of weeks there was a few run-ins with others, but slowly, it started working. People were slowing down. The work gave my life purpose, way more purpose than my shitty old job at Ruby Tuesdays. Of course, like a responsible citizen, I reported all of my issuances to the police, which they promptly ignored. I thought that if they were ignoring a concerned citizen serving up lawbreaker stew to them on a platter complete with dates, time of day, license plate numbers and everything, maybe they just don't actually care, and it made my work even that more important. The job was not without its difficulties though. Often drivers would drive away, flipping me the bird, angry that someone was infringing upon their idea that their money gave them complete control over the world. This was my vacation. I wanted to show every single one of them that there was someone watching them and holding them accountable for their actions, protecting the doppelgangers of the world. Speeding was just as bad as murder in my view. In fact, in the case of Ned, speeding was murder. It was fucking murder. My tactics were working though. People were going slower. My block was safer. And I thought of what a million enforcers all over the world could do. They could end murder, or at least accidental murder by car. There was one person who wasn't so keen on losing her devil-may-care attitude, and her right foot would go through the floor if she didn't have such chicken leg style of driving. There's always one person who holds on to their feebly constructed view of reality where it's okay for them to do whatever the hell they want. She was my arch nemesis, like Lex Luthor to my Superman. And because of the way she drove, I pinned every terrible deed ever done on her. Sally Carruthers. Her name might as well have been Sally, I don't give a shit about anyone else around me. And she was responsible for the starving kids in Africa, global warming, and everything else terrible in this world. The first time I saw her, she drove so fast I couldn't stop her. The second time she swerved around me, risking turning my legs into hamburger meat. She probably would have eaten me if she'd gotten the chance, served me to her children, which I can only imagine are literal vultures. When I got her, it was none too pleasant, but oh so satisfying at the same time. Sally Carruthers was the type of lady who didn't have feet. Underneath her $300 pumps, there was either raven claws or cloven hooves. I can't decide which. And if you looked at her just right at midnight, she turned into something with the head of a goat, the body of a human, and bat wings. Then there was Fran. Fran was a second-grade teacher who would occasionally watch me from her living room window. I would occasionally nod and wave at her, because she never sped, and always followed the law, as teachers often do. I like to think that she was on my side, but a nagging feeling in the back of my gut let me know that she wasn't the type of person to try and take the law into her own hands. No, she was scared too, scared to get her hands dirty, the damsel in distress, always waiting for her cops in shining armor to protect her. They didn't give a shit about how fast people were driving on this residential street. That's the entire reason I was out there. If they actually cared enough to protect and serve, they would have responded to my communications that I've been trying to get them. That's what the police do, though. Always showing up after a terrible crime is committed, never actually preventing everything, always late to the party. I had a strange feeling that Fran and her Princess Peach attitude would be the end of my actually protecting and serving.
I've put in a call, you know.
Excuse me?
Call to the police. They're quite interested in a man walking around with a police officer issuing tickets.
No, I could have gotten all uppity and explained that I wasn't the police and I wasn't issuing tickets, but I was in the right, damn it. And for once, I chose the higher ground. Me and the police talk on a regular basis, ma'am.
I talked to the police. They don't have any idea who you are.
I'm here to fill a need, ma'am, to give you a friendly reminder not to drive so fast.
I don't think you're right in the head.
Well, this got me a little pissed. Apparently, in all of her looking out her window, Fran never noticed how dangerously people drove. Apparently, I was right about the Princess Peach attitude. I always thought it was odd that Bowser was allowed to just run around after multiple successful kidnappings. Well, apparently Fran thought her job was just to wait and be rescued by the mustachioed police, and that we should invite large dinosaurs into our neighborhoods as well. Have you seen the way people drive these days?
It's not your job or responsibility to do anything about it.
Princess fucking Peach. Well, I'll be out here, man, protecting you, whether you like it or not. It wasn't long after that I saw the sex lights. Police lights, you know. I got screwed. I tried to explain to Officer, I don't care who you are, or what you're doing to help, but he refused to listen. Then I realized that the police were just as bad as those speeding. They felt like they were above the law and that they could enforce it as they saw fit. They could really fuck over those who were trying to help. They didn't care about the Neds of the world. Had I done anything wrong? No. My issuances didn't carry any legal gravitas or fine, just a friendly reminder to slow the fuck down. But Officer I don't care said that was the police's job. I wanted to scream at him about Ned, about the dangers of texting and driving, about all the murders, about the French Revolution, but you can't teach an imbecile about the French Revolution. So I didn't. And just like that, my vacation was over. This all started with a man passing. He was my doppelganger, you see, so I was really more so than normal able to put myself into his shoes. I totally forgot the rest of all of the lines. This all started with a man passing. He was my doppelganger, you see, so more so than usual I was really put in... Are you filming? I would appreciate it. Hey, he's... I'll just have one more time. That gives me a great idea for the movie. Fuck, a movie, not the movie. I would appreciate your cooperation if you would refuse and be distracted and run some kid over. But Matt, Of course, like a responsible citizen, I reported all of my issuances to the police. I forgot the rest of it. Of course, like a responsible citizen, I reported all of my issuances to the police. Which made my lip keeps going. Nah, okay. Wasn't. There was one person who wasn't so keen on losing their devil-may-care attitude, and her right foot would go through the floor if she didn't. There was one. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. She was my arch nemesis. Like Lex Luthor was my Superman. She was my arch nemesis. The second time she swerved around me, risking turning my head. Recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I did it then.
The second time she swerved around me, risking turning my legs into hamburger meat. She probably would have eaten. About the last time I would appreciate if you wouldn't use that icon.
Should we like?
Oh yeah,
Turn around.
that would totally be next. That would make a lot more sense. Me and the police talk on a red belt. Wait, you're still going or no? You got it?
Yeah, got it.
You still recording?